Hey guys, today I just have a little bit of a kind of a story, I guess you would say, for you, from my childhood. It has to do with, one of my deities. I believe it may be a spirit guide. I'm not entirely sure. That's the entire point of this video. So here's the story. When I was about 2 or 3 years old, I used to like to get up and walk around in the middle of the night. I would crawl out of my bed. I walked really early, so I was already running around by this time. It may have been younger than that. I think it was about 2. But one night, I went into my parents' bedroom. And I told my mom, I woke her up, and I said, "Mommy, there's a lady in the living room." So, of course, she freaks out. She thinks somebody's breaking into the house, so she wakes my dad up, and they both come running in. I don't remember a whole lot up until this point. This is where I start to remember what actually happened. I've always been fairly receptive since I was a child when it comes to other worlds and things like that. But I remember pointing and saying, "There she is, she's in the corner." And she was standing kind of by the window. And she was, I called her the White Lady, and I still to this day call her the White Lady. She had long, flowing white hair. She had bright blue eyes. Sometimes they're green. Actually, more often than not, they're green rather than blue, but they're piercing. She had very pale white skin, pale lips. She was wearing a flowing white dress. And I remember getting the impression of kind of mysterious, like, what is this, type of thing, but very peaceful and calming at the same time. It wasn't a scary thing for me. My mom didn't see it, and my dad didn't see it. They had no clue what in the world I was talking about. And it never happened again in that way. We all just kind of went to bed and were done with it. But a lot of times in dreams throughout my childhood and things like that, I have seen this lady. She never speaks, and she never particularly does anything symbolic or gesturing or anything of the sort. She just kind of stands there and looks at me. I felt her presence before in the actual awake state, rather than dreaming. But I have tried to do meditations to contact her. I've tried to do a lot of different things to figure out who in the world she is, and I have never been successful. I did a lot of Googling and all types of different researches of obscure goddesses and spirit guides and things of that nature, and the first few that I came across were Diana, Artemis, and Arianrhod, and I tried to connect with each one of them, and the Greek ones, they didn't work out very well. I don't connect with them at all. Now, Arianrhod, I ended up adopting I ended up taking on the Welsh triple goddess as my matron, I guess you would call it, my main goddess deity. But the connection to the White Lady is still there, and it is not her. It's not Arianrhod. It's something different. And I was just wondering if any of you have ever seen anything like this before, or you have seen her, or you might have any ideas to who she is. At this point, I've given up, kind of. I haven't really given up, but I think it's more along the lines of I'm not supposed to know who she is, or she doesn't want me to. I'm still looking, maybe it's just one of those things where I have to keep pushing through and keep pushing and keep persevering to find out who she is, and that's what she wants me to do. At this point, I'm kind of leaning more towards she's being evasive, and she doesn't want me to know her name or her origins or anything like that, because that's not what matters. I think it's more along the lines of it matters the type of feeling that I get when she's here, and when I dream about her and things like that. It's just very calming and peaceful, and if I'm having a hard day and I dream of her or I feel her presence, it's okay. It's not a big deal. It's just everything's better. And I've kind of felt her kind of tapping on my shoulder, not literally, but you know what I mean, that conscience kind of thing, when I'm making certain decisions. So I think maybe by not revealing her name, she's trying to show me that it's not names and labels that matter. It's the spiritual. But if you have any idea or clue, or if you have any similar story to this, I would love to hear it. So post a video response, or a comment, or whatever. And then another story along the same lines that I have is about another dream that I had when I was little. And some background on my family. My mother is very intuitive. She has contacted spirits many times. They've come to her. We've had haunted houses and things like that. And I have been very intuitive since I was born. My younger sister is not intuitive at all. She's an empath, and she's not very psychically intuitive, I guess you would call it. The sister below that is fairly intuitive as far as I'm aware, and what I've spoken to her about. My little brother is not at all, but he's not my mother's. He's my stepmother's, so I think that has something to do with it. Because my grandmother on my mother's side was also very psychically intuitive and things. And this dream, it has only occurred to the women in my family that are psychically inclined, I guess you would say, metaphysically inclined. And it goes something like this, and it always happens when we're 3 or 4 or 5, somewhere in there. And we're riding a tricycle down the street. We don't know what street it is, and the sky is like blood red. There's a big full moon out, and it's huge, like massive. And we're just riding down the street on our little tricycle, like having fun. And then all of a sudden we see a ball in front of us, like one of those plastic balls that you can play in pretty much anything with. They're like $1 at Walmart. But we start going after the ball because we want to pick it up, and it starts rolling, and we can't get to it. And then after it's done rolling, it stops, and it morphs into a spider. And the spider kind of crawls away really fast. We can't catch it. We can't get to it. And the spider kind of runs off of our plane of view. This dark figure kind of looms in from the periphery. And he is, we call him the Dark Man. The White Lady, the Dark Man, I know, very vague, but that's what each and every one of us has described him as. And he is wearing a dark colored, like kind of like a top hat, I guess you would say. A dark shirt. They're all black shirt, black pants, black shoes. They're like the shiny black dress shoes, dress shoes, and a black overcoat. It's like a trench coat, and then a black cape. And we don't necessarily get any type of brooding feeling from him. It's just kind of not necessarily worry, but just he's an overwhelming presence, and it's too much. And we turn around and we start to ride the other direction. And no matter how fast we pedal, he's walking behind us. And he's just walking at a normal slow pace, but he's always right there behind us. We can never lose him. And then after a while of riding and not being able to lose him, we wake up. And I had this dream repetitively. No, I don't think anyone else in my family did. I think they just had it once or twice, but I had it several times. And I'm big into dream interpretation, but I have never been able to figure out what in the hell that means, or who it is, or what. So if any of you have ever had any similar experiences, let me know. So that's my story for today. I thought it was pretty interesting. Maybe I could entertain you guys. So let me know what you think, and we'll see you next time. Blessed be.